David Attenborough is an absolute legend, a man who has spent over 7 decades showing us the staggering, untamed beauty of our planet. Throughout his massive broadcasting career, his unmistakable voice has narrating the wonders of the wild, transforming him into one of the most trusted and famous people on Earth. Along the way, he had the resources to live anywhere he wanted, from sprawling country estates to luxury modern mansions. But now, as Sir David celebrates his historic 100th birthday, the home where he plans to spend his final days is a lot different than the grand celebrity properties you might expect. It is a huge, deliberate shift from the conventional luxury known by the global elite. So, what kind of house does David Attenborough actually plan to take his final rest in? And why did he choose this specific spot over every other paradise on Earth? Welcome to Royal Time of Hollywood. Today, we are opening the gates to the humble, deeply personal property that this global icon calls his ultimate sanctuary, the gift of time and early ambition. To understand why David Attenborough's final home holds so much meaning, we have to travel back to where his legendary curiosity first began. Long before he was an international icon, David was just an intensely observant kid growing up on the university campus in Leicester, where his father served as principal. While other children were playing competitive sports, young David was scouring the local terrain for fossils, bones, and unique stones, treating every single pebble like a hidden piece of Earth's history. Talent and ambition clearly ran deep in the family. David was the middle of 3 brothers. His older brother, Richard Attenborough, would grow up to become an absolute powerhouse in Hollywood as an Oscar-winning director and actor, while his younger brother, John, climbed the ranks as a top executive in the automotive industry. Yet, despite their growing success, the Attenborough home was fundamentally built on kindness and global citizenship. During the height of World War II, his parents courageously opened their doors to 2 young Jewish refugee girls fleeing Nazi Germany, welcoming them as adoptive sisters. One of those sisters, Marianne, gave David a deeply meaningful gift that would alter his perception of time forever, a piece of ancient amber with prehistoric creatures perfectly trapped inside. It was a literal time capsule. Decades later, that exact piece of amber would become the centerpiece of one of his world-famous documentaries. David possessed the brilliant mind of a scientist, mixed with the sharp hustle of a young entrepreneur. When he was only 11 years old, he discovered that the local university's zoology department required live newts for their research. Spotting an opportunity, he offered to supply them with as many as they needed for 3 pence each. What he conveniently left out was that he was catching them from a vibrant pond located right next door to the department. The definitive turning point for his life's mission occurred in 1936, when he and his brother Richard attended a lecture by Grey Owl, an early, fierce advocate for nature. Grey Owl warned the audience that humanity was actively destroying the Earth's delicate ecological balance. In the 1930s, almost no one was talking about conservation, but for young David, those words stuck like glue. It became the definitive creed he would live by for the next century. The accidental star of BBC Two. After earning a degree in geology and zoology from Cambridge and completing his national service in the Royal Navy, David's entry into broadcasting was entirely accidental. He initially worked editing science textbooks, but quickly grew bored of the desk grind. In 1950, he applied for a radio job with the BBC. They rejected him, but his resume caught the eye of Mary Adams, a visionary boss in the BBC's infant television department. Remarkably, Adams almost kept David off the screen entirely because she firmly believed his teeth were too big for the camera. Forced behind the scenes, David spent years producing quiz programs and music shows. But his passion for the natural world couldn't be contained. He helped launch a small program called Animal Patterns, where he teamed up with London Zoo reptile curator Jack Lester to plan a bold live animal collection expedition called Zoo Quest. Right as filming was set to begin, Jack Lester fell severely ill. With no backup options, David had to step in front of the lens as the presenter at the absolute last minute. Suddenly, the man who was told he didn't have the face for television became an overnight star, captivating audiences with his relaxed, authentic, and easygoing style. David's legendary executive genius truly shone when he was appointed the controller of the struggling new channel, BBC Two, in 1965. He rebranded the network entirely, transforming it into a hub for cutting-edge culture, comedy, and educational television. If you have ever enjoyed Monty Python's Flying Circus, you have David Attenborough to thank. He championed broadcasting snooker because the vibrant, colored balls were the perfect way to show off the BBC's brand new color television technology. He even collaborated with sports authorities to invent the high-visibility yellow tennis ball, replacing the old white ones that were impossible to track on early color TV screens. A 47-year foundation and a devastating loss. While David was busy traveling the globe and running massive media networks, his historic career was entirely sustained by one person, his wife, Jane Oriole. The pair tied the knot in 1950 when they were just starting out in London. For nearly 50 years, Jane was David's absolute anchor. While he was away for months at a time in jungles and ice caps, Jane remained in Richmond, building the steady, loving home that gave him a reason to return. Together, they raised 2 children, Robert and Susan. But the heavy price of being the world's most famous naturalist was that David missed massive milestones in his children's early lives. It became a gentle running joke in the household. Whenever old family memories were discussed, they would tease him, saying, "Oh, you wouldn't remember that, Dad, you weren't there." Tragedy struck with brutal force in 1997. While David was halfway across the world in New Zealand filming the life of birds, he received the shattering news that Jane had suffered a massive brain hemorrhage and collapsed into a coma. David canceled production immediately and raced across the globe, reaching her hospital bedside just in time. In a final, heartbreaking moment, Jane gave his hand one last squeeze before passing away at the age of 70. Losing his anchor left David entirely lost in a deafening silence. In a beautiful act of devotion, his daughter Susan eventually left her career as a school head teacher to live with him, becoming his business partner and taking care of his daily life. Yet, despite the deep grief, David adamantly refused to sell or move from the house they shared. To him, Jane's spirit remained alive in the hallways and under the canopy of the garden they had planted together. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to check out the other stories and shocking updates on our channel. We've covered many incredible celebrity journeys, tragic endings, and untold Hollywood secrets that you don't want to miss. Binge watch our previous videos to discover more surprising facts, emotional stories, and where your favorite stars are today. Your support helps us bring you more powerful content like this, so don't forget to explore, watch more, and stay tuned for the next video. Building a blueprint for the planet. To heal his broken heart, David threw himself entirely into his work, treating nature as his ultimate therapy. He embarked on a relentless mission to create a definitive, sweeping encyclopedia of life on Earth. Through groundbreaking megaseries like Life on Earth, 1979, The Living Planet, 1984, and The Trials of Life, 1990, he pioneered filming techniques that changed documentaries forever. He utilized specialized infrared cameras to capture chimpanzees navigating the dark and cutting-edge macro lenses to reveal the hidden, competitive world of insects and life in the undergrowth. By the time he completed Life in Cold Blood in 2008, he had achieved the monumental task of documenting every major group of land-dwelling animals on the planet. The sanctuary at the finish line. After visiting literally every single corner of our planet, Sir David's favorite place on Earth isn't a remote tropical island or a pristine mountain peak. It is his quiet, leafy home in Richmond, West London. He has spent nearly 30 years turning this single property into his personal sanctuary. Richmond is a spectacular, upscale neighborhood nestled right against the River Thames and the iconic Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew. It is an extraordinary patch of London where massive wild herds of deer roam freely through Richmond Park, just moments away from urban boutiques. Behind his front door, David leads a surprisingly modest life, surrounded by his massive collection of books, ancient fossils, and deep memories. He is fiercely active in protecting the character of his neighborhood. In a legendary move, David dropped over £1 million to personally buy the vacant historic pub right next door to his property, called the Hole in the Wall. Instead of letting developers bulldoze it into a massive, modern mansion block, he preserved the classic look of the old building, transforming it into modest housing while extending his private garden to plant a lush fruit orchard and a thriving new fish pond. A century for the Earth. As the world marked May 8, 2026, Sir David Attenborough officially hit the miraculous 100-year mark. The entire world paused to express an ocean of global gratitude. He received a personal centenary card from King Charles III, was awarded the prestigious Stephen Hawking Medal, and stood as the guest of honor at a massive gala concert at the Royal Albert Hall, where thousands of people gave him a roaring standing ovation. Now, at 100 years old, Sir David is very open about the fact that he is approaching the natural end of his journey. He has no desire for grand mansions or flashy estates. He has found his finish line in the very same garden where he and his beloved Jane once stood, listening to the buzzing of the bees and watching the ripples of his pond. It is here, in the backyard he spent his life protecting, that the world's greatest guardian plans to take his final rest. Are you inspired by Sir David Attenborough's century-long mission? Share your favorite memories of his documentaries in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Royal Time of Hollywood, and hit that bell notification so you never miss another deep dive into history.